since the government probably will start requisitioning PSI. I don't know if I can get into that in this show. I'm going to need time to look over that question and figure out exactly what it's about. Question for the show. Do you have info related to Atlanta or the Southeast in general? Atlanta is, technically it's supposed to be set up to become the eastern capital of the New World Order. Denver being the West Coast capital and Atlanta being the East Coast capital. And so I know they've been building bases in the mountains out in Atlanta and stuff. So other than their plans of having Atlanta as the eastern capital, I don't have anything in particular about it. Wouldn't want to be there. I mean, it's going to be a major hub when the persecution of Christians comes down and just the overall theme of martial law in America. Atlanta's going to be one of these central hubs of trains and being able to move people around so that they can be killed. What do you think of other kin? Well, I don't know what you mean by what do I think of other kin. Other kin, as in who, as in what? Try to make some of these questions a little bit easy for me, folks. I'm not always as smart as Crane in the box. I can't figure out what it is you're asking. Dear Sherry, I was reading somewhere about Africa not being affected by the coming pole shift in 2012. Have you heard about this? Also heard we are going to want to be 2,500 feet above sea level and away from any major nuclear reactors, and the Lord's people should build communities at these safe places. Yeah, well, I was in Colorado, and I think some parts of that is like 6,000 square feet up. Colorado, the central, the eastern half, and some of those other countries, and I gave a list of them. Looked at a map, one of these shows, and told people where it is they'd want to be. But just go where the Lord leads, I've had some people tell me, well, the Lord moved me to North Carolina. Well, the Lord led me to California. Well, the Lord led me to Florida. These are all like coastal states ready to be drowned and destroyed at any minute. I highly doubt the Lord's leading these people there. But I'm not God, and so it just kind of strikes me as odd. You tell people to get away from the coast. And then some people head right to them. And Sherry, missing your show up here in Canada, going through withdrawal. Pray all is okay. Yeah, I just had to leave. I didn't want anybody knowing where I was, and so that's part of the downside of it. Maybe next time, since they'll find out anyway, I'll just let people know. I may not have even gotten a towel as far as I did if they'd known, though, so good thing I kept it quiet. Can you do a Bible code on Ted Shuttlesworth? Tell us what the Spirit shows you about him. I don't even know who he is. Ted Shuttlesworth? Never heard of him. Another question. Can you do, same one. I don't do Bible codes on too many people. It takes too long. It takes a long time, as a matter of fact. About 40 hours to do one code. Just this past week or so, Yahuwah, and Yehuda is Judah, but without the D. That's how it is, Yahuwah. Yahuwah. That's how I've started spelling it. I started spelling it that way just this past week in my writings. Seen somebody's pronunciation of it, and it looked like the same pronunciation he had told me. So I adopted that spelling, Y-A-H-U-A-H. Yahuwah. Okay, so I'll get back. I just like saying his name. Just as past week, so Yahuwah has been leaning back and studying on the Sarah and all that jazz. Do you have any info and all that? Have you had any recent contact with that again? I hope she's alright finding her way. Thanks, Sarah is still struggling along. It's hasn't gone away. In fact, they were telling their supporters about 2 months ago that on June 15th they would make first contact. And then, of course, after that, they started getting iffy and making that so final. And so they said any time after June 15th. And so they're still there. They're not going anywhere. They're still dragging along the people by the noses and lying to them and telling them, oh, they're going to be light beings and stuff. And then when you go to their meetings and you pay all this money, you find out who they really are. That they really do serve Satan, that they really do have an alien agenda, that it's all alien-oriented, that, it's everything I've been saying it is. And that's one of the biggest things I'm finding from some of these people that were just riding on the fence, didn't know which way to go, and so they went ahead and jumped into the Sarah crowd, throw their hat in there, learn what it's about, become one of them, only to find out through their own research that everything I was saying about it had been true. And so they've come out of it, pulled themselves out of it. And so that's what anybody has to do is I'm not saying disguise yourself and jump into this stuff, but you can go to my website, NasaraSucks.com or MegansAreLiars.com, and read about Nasara. Nasara is the political economic program that the beast wants to implement on the earth. Join my kingdom, accept my mark, my stamp, my name, my number, whatever it is, and join his kingdom on earth and have Nasara. And of course, Nasara is complete with bribes. Get $10,000 or $75,000 a month for 10 years and get out of debt, and we're all going to be returned to constitutional law and blah blah blah. And you know what? It's hogwash. But it has enough bribery in it and greed, money to satisfy the greedy. And those looking for a better way out of just being on a simple life or being in poverty or whatever. It appeals to every aspect. We finally get our country back, get it out of the hands of the Satanists, get constitutional law back. Why do we need aliens from outer space who can't keep their own planets together and can't run their own governments coming to Earth to run ours, folks? And what about being a hostile takeover of aliens on Earth is going to give us our Constitution back? People really need to think this stuff through before they're so eager to accept these aliens as friendly beings. And I get in so many fights from different people. I don't even fight with them. I just get rid of them off my list. I don't deal with it. So many people hogwash into believing not all aliens are bad, that some of them are friendly and this and that. And you know what all it is controlled opposition, folks. They play good cop, they play bad cop. Either way, they own the cop. I mean, they're just playing mankind. And that's something the Lord had told me. You know what? When all comes to a head, even the friendly ones will show their true colors. And they all work for Satan, folks. And so don't get hogwashed and bogwashed into that. What happened between you and Pastor Harry, and there's a link to that. I'm not even going to go there. I haven't been to a site in 2 years, and I'm not going. This guy, and I talked about him on my last show, he was an ex-host of my show. He lasted about 2 months. He didn't like the serpent seed line. He's part of an overall conspiracy online. There's a huge group of them. We pretty much have done a lot of research in the background. We know pretty much who they are and where they live. A lot of them working in universities, out of universities. There's a whole group of people, probably between 15 to 30 people, who work together in various ways on the internet, who attack me online and others. And Harry Walter's part of them. His real name was John Landis. He's not even a real pastor. He's never